Today we're making eye of round. So let's get started. For our eye of round, we're going to need an eye of round roast, about 3 to 4 pounds, a medium red onion, some brown gravy mix, some oil, some chicken broth, salt, pepper. You can either use white pepper or black pepper, and some cayenne pepper. So let's get prepped and let's start by dicing up our red onion, and we'll be right back. Alright, so we've got our red onion. We are going to dice it up. Come on. There we go. And what we're going to do once we get this diced up, we are going to need to get our oven heated up to maximum. Now this is if you have an electric oven. Oops. There we go. Just seems to be making a mess this morning. Come on. Well. So we've got our red onion diced up. And let me get this moved away, and then we'll be right back because we need to season up our eye of round roast. So back in just a minute. Alright, so I've got my oven heating to 550. So I've got my roast here, and as always, whenever working with raw meat, be sure to wash and keep your hands clean. So what we're going to do is we are going to season it up on all sides with a little salt and pepper. Now, unfortunately, I was out of black pepper, so I will be using some white pepper. And once again, we're going to cover all sides with the pepper. Alright, so now we're going to move over to a stove, and we're going to get this all seared up and ready to go. So we'll be right back. Alright, so we've heated up in a large heavy duty pot, which has to be oven safe. We've heated up our oil. We've got our oven heating up to 550, which is the max that my oven will go. So now we're gonna sear our eye of round. So we're gonna take it and we're gonna place it in the pot. And we're gonna sear that just a couple of minutes per side. So I'm gonna get that all done. I'm gonna get it all seared up and then we will be right back. So see you shortly. All right, as you can see, we've got a good sear on our eye of round. So we are going to take this out of the pot and set this to the side on a plate. And we're going to turn down the heat just a little bit on our stove. And now we are going to add in our onions. And we're going to cook those down so we can get all the good crust off of the bottom of the pot. And we're going to cook these for about 5 minutes. And if needed, we may have to add a little bit of beef stock to the bottom of the pot. So let me get these all cooked up and ready to go, and then we'll move on. So back in a little bit. All right, so our onions have been cooking down for about 5 minutes now. So we are going to add 1 container of chicken broth, and we're going to put this in slowly so we can get some of the, scrape up some of the stuff off of the bottom, which is all flavor. All right. So we're going to add in the rest of the chicken broth. Have a good stir. And now we are going to add our eye of round back to the pot. And this is going to be covered, and we are going to place this in a 550 degree oven for 1 hour. And then after that hour, we're going to check the amount of broth that's left and add any more beef broth as needed. Then we are going to turn the oven off and let it sit in the oven for about 2 to 3 hours. And then about an hour after that, we're going to check our broth, make sure it's good to go. So let's go ahead and get this put in the oven, and then we will let this go for an hour at 550, and we'll be right back. All right, so this has been going for roughly 1 hour at 550 degrees in my oven. So we're going to pull this out, see what the liquid level's like. All right, so we're going to add another couple of cups of chicken broth. I mean, sorry, not chicken broth, beef broth. About half a container of beef broth. There we go. All right, so now we are going to cover this back up. Ouch. Ow. All right, and we are going to turn off our oven and let this cook for 2 to 3 hours. Now, if you use a gas oven, you're going to want to cook this at about 250, 300 for about the same amount of time. checking about every 30 minutes to an hour on the liquid level. So we're going to let this go for a good couple hours, and we will check back in a little bit. All right, so this has been going for about an hour and a half. So we're going to pull this out. And we're going to check the temperature on this. There we go. And we are looking at about... All right, we're over 165. We're coming in at like 190. So this is done. So we're gonna pull this out, and then we're gonna slice this up, and we'll be right back. All right, so we've got our eye round out, and we are gonna slice this up into thin slices, roughly about a 1/4 inch. Sliding around over here. All right, so we've got this all sliced up. We're gonna transfer this over to a plate, and then we are gonna continue making our gravy. So let me get set up for that, and we'll be right back. All right, so we are heating up our drippings so we can get ready to make our gravy. So we're gonna slowly mix in our brown gravy mix, and we're gonna use 2 to 3 packages. So put in our first package, whisk that around, make sure that gets mixed in. And at this point, if you want more gravy, you can add some more beef stock and additional brown gravy packages. So that's our first package. We're gonna add in our second one, because we don't want it too thick, but then you also don't want it too thin. And like I said, generally about 3 packages is what I use. That's number 2. We're also going to check and see that we got our seasonings right. We may need to add a little salt and pepper to this. It's got a good flavor to it. So now we're going to add in our third package. And this will also thicken up more as it cooks. All right, so we are going to add also a couple of sprinkles of cayenne pepper just for a little bit of a kick. You don't want this too hot. I'm going to check it again. Perfect. So now we are going to add back in our eye of round. Going to turn this down to about a medium low. And make sure this all gets covered up. And we are going to cover this and let it cook for an additional 30 minutes. So we'll be back in a little bit. All right, so this has been going an additional 30 minutes. All right, it's perfect. Looks really good. Pieces are tender. All right, so let me get this plated up and we'll be right back. All right, so we've got this all plated up and ready to go. I've got this served with rice. You can serve with rolls, and you can also serve with mashed potatoes. So I hope you enjoy the video. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. And always enjoy, and see you next time. Bye.